Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is a request actually, and it has more to do with nutrition and eating, which for those of you who don't know, I have a background in nutrition. I am a registered holistic nutritionist, and the topic that was requested today was mindful eating. Mindful eating is so important, not just to those who are dieting or struggling with weight issues, but mindful eating is actually important for all of us. And so we're going to start off by explaining what is mindful eating in the first place. Mindful eating is awareness while we are eating. We are aware of our emotions, aware of sensations, aware of our senses while we are consuming a meal. So why is this important? It's important because a lot of people are mindless eating. That means they're not paying attention. They might be consuming too much food. They might not be enjoying their food. They might be eating for other reasons than being hungry. And this is really rampant. A lot of people experience this. And I have it myself included, this experience. You know, like you're sitting watching TV and all of a sudden you look down, you've eaten an entire bag of popcorn or an entire box of cookies and you're just like, what happened? So mindful eating is something we've all experienced at some point in our life, but some people are existing and doing this way too much than they should be. And it is something that many people struggle with. So you're not alone if you are a mindless eater, and it's very common. So what are some things you can do to have a mindful eating experience? One of the very first things you can do is you can slow down. So that's the biggest thing, is that people eat way too quickly. I've been guilty of it too. Especially when you wait and you're really hungry and you just wolf down your food. So eating slowly is important for many reasons. Number one, the scientific factor is that we need to eat slowly in order for proper digestion. So 100% of bad digestive problems. So if you've got stomach issues, or if you've got like a lot of health issues, are because we are not digesting food properly. If you don't digest your food properly, you can't assimilate the nutrients that you're eating. If you're eating healthy and you're not eating properly, you're not going to assimilate those nutrients, which is why you're eating properly in the first place, right? So it's important to slow down. For example, as crazy as it sounds, the number one thing that's important is to masticize your food. Masticize means to chew your food almost into a paste. So each bite should be chewed almost to a paste. And hardly anybody I know does this. I know a few people that do, but hardly anyone I know does this. So what we typically do is we eat quickly, or we chew it a couple times and we swallow it. So like there's pieces of food, right? Like it's not paste, there's pieces of food. This is a problem for many reasons. One is because that's really difficult to digest. It's really going to give your digestion, your pipes in your stomach, in your digestive system, a really hard time. It's going to make it a lot harder than it needs to be. So that's number one. That's really important that food is chewed down. Another thing is the body sometimes sees this piece of food as a foreign invader. It doesn't recognize it as food. It recognizes it as a foreign invader attacking the body. So the body's like, freaking out and using energy to fight something that's not a foreign invader. That's not a threat to the body, but the body thinks it is. So you're kind of stressing the body out there, and you're putting the body into, I talk about this sometimes, into sympathetic drive. So there's the sympathetic nervous system and there's the parasympathetic nervous system. They're two different systems, and one can't really run while the other one's running. So when you're stressed out, or when the body is stressed out and perceives something as being a foreign invader, it's going to go into sympathetic mode. So when it's in sympathetic mode, it's fight or flight mode. We want it to be in parasympathetic mode, because parasympathetic mode has a few functions, but one of them is digestion. So we want to be able to digest our food, which leads me to also saying that if we are stressed when we're eating, it's very important not to be stressed when you're eating, because if you're stressed when you're eating, you're in sympathetic mode. You're in fight or flight mode. You're going back to the caveman days where our bodies were designed this way. There's a bear. Oh, I need to fight. That's fight or flight mode. That's like life or death, really. And unfortunately, with our society and the way things are, our bodies are constantly in sympathetic mode, and it shouldn't be. It should be in parasympathetic mode for digestion of food. So again, another thing, so slow down, eat slowly, and don't be stressed when you're eating. Don't eat at work at your desk when like you've got a deadline to meet and I've done it a million times, like stuffing your face, and it's not good. It's not good for digestion, and it's mindless eating. And we want to be mindful when we're eating. Another reason we want to slow down is we want to experience our meal with all of our senses. We want to look at it. We want to get it, they say there's something called food porn because people actually like the way food looks. It makes you hungry. It looks good. It's appetizing, right? There's a reason they call it food porn. So, you want to visually look at your food. You want to smell your food. You want to smell like, hopefully it's a good aroma. You want to get the most out of that meal by getting a good whiff of that food. If it's a steak or whatever it is and it's sizzling, you can hear it. So there's another thing you can do with your senses. And mostly important, you want to taste it. And that's the thing, when you eat food very quickly, when you're eating so fast, you're not really tasting your food. You're not. And that's the whole thing of enjoying a meal, is that tasting that food, right? So we want to slow down and we want to use all of our senses, and especially savor the taste. Slow down, enjoy, take your time cutting your vegetables or whatever you're eating. Savor your food. So that's mindful eating. That's enjoying the experience. And that's another thing. Enjoy the experience, right? Sit down for dinner, do a nice table setting, get out some nice napkins. Don't save that for company. Get out the nice silverware, get a nice plate, sit at the table. Sit at the table. Don't sit on the couch. Don't stand at the counter. Don't lie in your bed. Sit at the dinner table and have your dinner. Enjoy your dinner. Put a bouquet of flowers there. Put whatever. Put something nice on the table setting. It sounds tacky, but it's true. You need to enjoy this experience. Try not to be distracted by anything. That's another thing that's very important. No distraction. So don't turn the TV off. Don't go on your cell phone. Don't scroll down your cell phone when you're eating, because you're not savoring the experience. You're not using all of your senses. You're using them for something else. So get off the cell phone. Don't be don't be watching television. Soft music playing in the background is totally fine. But even to talk, don't talk on the phone with somebody, right? If you're going to talk to whoever's at the dinner table with you in between bites. Enjoy your meal together. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't have a discussion on the phone. Don't distract yourself. Sit down, enjoy your meal, eat slowly, use all your senses, and avoid every distraction possible. And this will lead you down the road to mindful eating, to the point where this becomes natural for you. This becomes a natural way to eat. And when you do this, digestion improves, your mental state improves. 9 out of 10 times, you're not going to feel bad after eating that. And that's another thing too. If you're eating something, another thing with mindful eating is if you're eating something and you're going to feel bad about eating that later because you're on a diet or you're not supposed to be eating it for health issues or whatever reason, or a lot of people too eat food and it makes them feel physically sick after. And they're like, why do I do this? Why do I keep eating that when it doesn't make me feel good? Mindful eating will stop that. Mindful eating, I want you to think about what you're going to eat. I want you to also think about how you're going to feel after you eat that. Is it gonna make you lethargic and sit on the couch with no energy? Is it gonna make you feel bad? Is it gonna make you feel guilty? Is it gonna give you a stomach ache? We know this about our bodies. Most of us know this, and most of us know how it's going to make us feel. So if it's going to make you feel bad, don't do it. Don't do it. And the reason we do it is because we're not thinking. It's mindless. So if you really think about what it is you're eating and how you're going to feel after a while, you don't want to feel that way. Why would you? Why would you want to feel bad about yourself? Right? So just think about that. Think about your emotions and get in touch with, that's another thing with mindful eating, is getting in touch with your emotions and using all your senses, no distractions. And you will work on eating behaviors and notice your eating behavior. Notice, for a lot of people, this is really hard to do at the beginning because they've never done this. It's really hard to do. But this is what we're trying to change, is eating behavior, so that we have a healthier eating behavior and our relationship with food is healthier, because it's really important to have a healthy relationship with food. So focus on that and to change your eating behavior. Now, another thing I recommend is journaling. When, and a lot of people start off great with this, just like a diet. And this is not a diet, this is just a modification of behavior and thinking patterns. But a lot of people start off great. They'll journal like the first 2 nights. Oh, I journaled how it made me feel after, and that was so good, and how it tasted. And then they fall off the wagon because like the 3rd night in, they just have one of those days. They come home late from work, their blood sugar's off, and they just wolf down their meal, and they don't journal that. And it's important to journal that. That's more important than anything, is to journal that behavior. Because if you journal, I came home, I didn't have anything prepared, and I say to everybody, if you fail to plan, if you plan to fail. So have healthy snacks, have healthy food in the fridge so that you're not scrambling and getting a bag of chips while you're waiting for your dinner to cook. Done it too. So plan ahead. But when you have these moments and you're just eating out of control and you're eating so quickly and you wolf down your food and it's gone and your like stomach's killing you and you're like, what the hell? I just ate like enough for 3 people. And it's because you didn't slow down, and you need to register that the feeling of fullness. If you eat slowly and mindfully, you will register that feeling of fullness, which we almost all of us have. There are people that don't have that feeling of fullness, but most of us register the feeling of fullness. Some of us have lost track of that or lost touch with that. So it's important to stop eating when you're full. And some people have issues with wasting food, don't want to throw food away, right? So you'll have to get in touch. You'll have to find out what it is that is causing this mindless eating. And we all have different reasons as to what it is. But I really believe if you journal, you will figure out what it is. And it's most important to journal on the days where you don't feel like journaling and you have a slip up, and you will at the beginning because you're not used to this. But that's where you get in touch with the emotions you were feeling, what triggered this mindless eating, how you felt after. Did you feel guilty? Did you feel bad? Did you feel like pain? Was your stomach hurting, like physically in pain? Maybe you didn't sleep well that night because of the way you ate, and you ate late, or whatever the reason was. So it's most important to journal or to be aware when you fall off the wagon. That's the most important thing. So mindful eating is really important. It's just like we could expand this into the way we live. It's important to be mindful in how we live, right? And think about what we're doing and why we're doing it. And, oh, that didn't make me feel very good. I don't want to do that again. Or this discussion, I don't want to have that discussion, or whatever it is. So mindful living in general is very important. But hopefully this will address some of your concerns or some of your dilemmas with mindless eating, and hopefully some of these will become helpful for you to have more of a mindful experience when you eat. And I want you to write down in your journal, notice your responses even on the bad days. Write down your responses. Be in touch with how you respond to the food, to your reaction, to the way you ate, whether it's a mindful eating experience or not. Please be in touch with your responses, because these are keys to improvement. And the most important thing is that you are in tune with your responses, but you're not judging. You're not judging yourself. It's very, very hard to do, but you're not judging yourself. You're not going like, wow, what a loser. I just tomorrow's another day. And you can try the exercise again, but it's worth it. Mindful eating is worth it, especially when you start to expand this into your outside life and you want to have every experience being a mindful experience. And then you live a more mindful life. So I hope that this was helpful for the person that requested it. And if there's anything that you would like, please be in contact with me. You can contact me on my Nutralicious page on Facebook. I just get private messages on there. You can send me a message here on YouTube. However, if you're on my personal Facebook or my Instagram page, like any way you want to contact me is fine if you have any requests. Otherwise, I'll just keep rolling out these videos for whatever I feel like or whatever anybody asks, because I kind of like doing them. So again, my page on Facebook is Nutrilicious. On YouTube, I'm Lexi Velvet, and you're watching me here. On Instagram, I'm lexi.velvet on Instagram. And that's it. That's all. So happy mindful eating, be well, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.